So we have the ruling hexagrams, which we looked at before, and there they are extracted. Those are all the containers, and those ones up on top there are the drama hexagrams, which would refer to the four seasons and the outer and inner courts. The lineage hexagrams, which are part of the ruling hexagram, there they are. Father and mother lineage, worship and awareness, and four hexagrams about virtuous action. So that's rulership principle. And then we have the cyclic or karmic hexagrams, which have to do with peace and degeneration, full integration and not properly integrated, and especially the karmic thing following and corruption, gradual influence and usurping. So it's basically the action of good and bad, of virtuous and unvirtuous action and its result. And then the drama hexagrams are up on top. There they are, the four seasons and the inner and outer courts. And then finally, we have the societal hexagrams, which we looked at before. And there they are, the four classes: obtaining society, true leadership, establishing society, and then ruled by fall and spring, organizing society, ruled by winter and summer, renewing society. And then finally, Enlightened society, which took me years to figure out this structure, and it's really cool. It's really fun. True command that actually is either accepted or rejected by the Nien, leading to opulence and the way of the minister. And then the outer court, which has to do with wind and inspiring how you educate and create healthy environments, creating a sense of transmission of wisdom and a sense of conservation and balance in society. So if you look at the entire map of societal development, you can read the I Ching not as a bunch of isolated, interesting things, but as a complete history of the natural development and process of human society.
It's like the DNA.
It's exactly right. It's the DNA of the relative world. And those are ancient Chinese people who were really, really smart. And of course, if you think of DNA, it's the same 64-part situation. So, one could get wigged out. And that's probably worth the trouble. So if you'd like to know more, I'm teaching with Samten at Shambhala Mountain Center, October 29th to 31st, and then in the spring, a weekend on this, at Windhorse Farm in Nova Scotia, and at Hail the Tiger, which is part of Carmichaeling in Vermont in the spring as well. So that was a whirlwind tour of the structure. So, aim ho. So, is there any questions? I know we're late, maybe one or two, and then we'll wrap up. Yes?
So forgive me if this is really naive, but have you published this?
I only have one copy published. It's right on here. It actually is. And I did a PDF.
You have it backed up like 5,000 times somewhere.
The actual book with the commentary is 500 pages long. And I have shown it to an agent, and I'm basically showing it to my friends because I think I've done my part. And now, in terms of making it really useful for other people, I need your help, quite frankly. Just like a lot of the feedback I got here tonight, it's like, this would be helpful, that would be helpful, there's a typo, how does this work? That's how I'm going to do what work I have to do, because it really isn't my property. This is the property of people. So I feel very, quite frankly, humbled and honored to have had my part in it, but I don't think my part is the only part. So our journey will go on together with any luck.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
So did you use a particular edition when you were doing your work?
No, it's from the Chinese.
But was there one, so the actual
Chinese.
Okay.
Well,
Those of us who don't know Chinese, would you recommend an edition?
The one I like the best, it has a commentary with Wang Bi, who was translated by Richard John Lin. It's still somewhat opaque, but it is gorgeously crafted and reliable, whereas the Wilhelm was unbelievably good for when it was done, but is quite flawed from today's point of view, and then there's a lot of sort of popularizations that I have less confidence in. But Richard John Lin one is reliable in the sense that he didn't make anything up, which is great.
The structure, the complexity is could be mind-boggling, or it could be enriching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Yijing, the way I understand it in my life, is it subtilizes awareness
Mm-hmm.
about the energy in one's life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so being clear about the structure, I mean, your classes, what you're going to be teaching is getting into kind of getting more depth and substance
Mm-hmm.
to the grid.
That's right.
And I'm just wondering, what's your intention with the people and their minds and their path?
That's a really, really good question. And quite frankly, it's a conundrum for me. Because, and you know, that's why this kind of environment is so helpful to me, is because it's almost as if the I Ching were calculus, and most people know math, and they say, oh, you know, I know a little bit about the world, and I say, well, you know, this is really cool, and they say, yeah, but you know, it takes a lot of work to even just learn the basic language. And at the same time, with calculus, you can build a bridge or go to the moon. I mean, it's tremendously useful, but it's a big project. And how to make that accessible in a useful way, in bite-sized pieces, how much is too much and how much is, you know, I don't want to dumb it down any, but, you know, this is a tasting menu. It's not really a class. I'm not trying to teach it, and we don't have time to chew and digest and share. So in my thinking about this, these first classes I'm doing that are up here, originally I was thinking I was going to do 8 hexagrams, and I showed this to my friend Samten, and I've actually, you know, pulled in my warrants. I'm going to do fewer and leave more time for people to actually engage and discuss, and better to have a genuine first step than sort of like get sick from trying to eat too much. But I'm going to have to feel it out. It's going to be a back and forth situation to learn how to do it.
Because you are talking about change, you are talking about flux,
Yeah.
right? And when you get involved with a structure, inherent, it's like,
It looks frozen.
yeah, and like integrity, what was that? Integration.
Yes.
I was thinking maybe integration includes extrication.
Yeah.
You know,
Falling apart.
falling
Yeah.
apart and coming together.
That's exactly right. Well, my tendency, because of the path I've been on, you know, translating is highly intellectual, you know, structural thing. But when I was translating a given set of hexagrams, I would work really, really hard on the language and the structure, and then I would have to wander and ponder. You know, it was almost like, I was like taken over. And at some point there'd be some kind of exactly what you're talking of. You open up into its meaning and its feeling. But I had to get all the vocabulary together first. So how to do that in a way that works for other people? Don't know the answer yet. Really curious to learn. Yeah.
I'm really appreciating your systemic, kind of synthetic mind, and just that you have the ability to put this into systems. So I can really see general systems theory and you working with executives and businesses to help them lay it out and having a whole series of courses with each step. Is that
Oh, it could be. The idea is to be of benefit.
Yeah.
And I think Blake's point is a good one. It's for people who love theory. You show them the theory and then you put them in the boiling oil of their direct experience.
Yeah.
And for people who are unsophisticated in terms of theory, you make it available to them in terms of their intuition, which is highly developed. And then you show that the intuition actually has structure to it. So again, there's a lot of skillful means, and I see it as a team effort as opposed to sort of star shot, you know what I mean? I think that's what's going to work.